Hello and welcome again to Silver Gold TV, your one place for all silver and gold related news. Hey guys, I got a video for you guys today. I'm gonna be playing some chess right now. I already gotta get rid of the ads. So I'm playing some chess while I go over some very interesting stuff. All right, man. I'm sure you've all heard of the crime of 1971 and how Richard Nixon the government held the $35 per ounce of gold price until the 15th of August 1971, when President Richard Nixon announced that the United States will no longer convert dollars to gold at a fixed value, thus completely abandoning the gold standard. That was the end of the gold standard. A lot of you in the silver and gold community know this. This is not strange to you. This is why we stack. But unfortunately, we may have missed a major part of what happened in 1974, which is like 3 years later. The problem that happened in 1974 is the birth of the petrodollar. Yes, I'm talking about the petrodollar again because I realized yesterday in my video a lot of silver stackers and a lot of people in general may not even know what a petrodollar is because they're used to just hearing the US dollar. And the petrodollar is the US dollar in a way. And the craziest thing, if you start researching it nowadays, I started researching it basically, now, today. And I researched it in the past, but there's a big difference now. The big difference is they're changing the wording. It used to just be the petrodollar, and they were very proud of calling it the petrodollar. Now, everywhere I look, the same websites, Wikipedia, um, the same websites that previously spoke of the petrodollar in a different light, now, for some reason, they've changed the petrodollar. They still call it the petrodollar, but they're also referring to it as the petrodollar recycling, which is it's very weird. It's a very weird term. I've never seen this term before, to be completely honest. Nowhere near the petrodollar ever. I don't really understand what the recycling portion of it is, but with that said, I hope they didn't change too much of what it's supposed to be or what it is about. I am aware that words are powerful, and if they're changing certain words in certain texts, or it's gonna start changing the way we see things, it's gonna start changing the way we operate in with certain things. So that's what we're looking at right now. This wasn't he. This the I've never seen that term before, to be completely honest. But check this out: the birth of the petrodollar and the petrodollar recycling. I know it sounds weird. Uh, Began in 1974. Attention, attention soon focused on the oil exporting countries. After the U.S. quadrupled its grain export prices shortly after the 1971 gold standard suspension, the oil the oil exporting countries quadrupled their oil prices. U.S. diplomats let Saudi Arabia and other Arabian countries know that they could change as much as they wanted for their oil, but that the U.S. would treat it as an act of war, not to keep their oil processes in U.S. assets. What does that mean? It's basically big words, but it basically said, hey, Saudi Arabia, Arabian countries, the main producers of oil, you guys better hold American assets, American um, like treasury bonds and stuff like that. If not, it would be an act of war. Why did America at this time give itself the freedom to just declare something simple, something funny like that, like an act of war? Um, it's because this happened post World War II, and basically the countries of the world were done. We're done with war, and the only country left standing, or if not standing, definitely left in a lot better position than most countries, financially, economically, politically, militarily, was the U.S. The U.S. Was definitely in a far greater position of authority when it came to power, when it came to its power. With that said, it gave itself the authority to push basically people around. And since they did this, they also said the following: in 1973, the oil crisis further fixed the value of the dollar as a result of this oil shock, bringing Saudi Arabia and the OPEC countries to make a secret agreement with Washington, the main architecture being President Nixon's legendary Secretary of State, Mr. Henry Kissinger. This agreement provided that in exchange for Washington's political and military protection, the OPEC countries would be required to sell oil only in dollars. Isn't that something? Did you guys catch that? So basically, America gave itself the sole exclusivity and authority that every country in the world can only buy from OPEC countries of are the main oil producers of crude oil, gas, and all its variants. So basically, we forced them to buy and sell their products exclusively in US dollars. And thus, the petrodollar was born, being a replacement for the gold linked standard that existed prior to Nixon. One system was supported by OPEC members, and the global demand of US petrodollars hit all time highs. So, what did this do? What happened here? Basically, the US of A got away from its gold standard, and the world basically shook because no one expected that to happen. Nobody wanted that to happen, and basically everyone assumed it was over because we've been through that. We've been through this before. Every time we leave a gold standard, it doesn't end well. But people in Washington got smart, got crafty, and forced OPEC countries to um, buy, sell, or trade exclusively, exclusively in dollars all of their products. So this creates an artificial demand for US dollars all across the world. Why? Because you need US dollars to buy oil from OPEC. Simple as that. So let's say you're Russia trying to buy oil products from OPEC, you need US dollars. Let's say you're China trying to buy oil from OPEC, guess what? You need US dollars. Let's say you are basically any country in the world, any country in the world. If you need petroleum, which you do because the world runs on it, you would first need to buy US dollars. That's right. You would first need to purchase US dollars in order for you to even have the possibility of purchasing any oil products. And this was the creation of the petrodollar. The petrodollar became the basis of America's domination over the global financial system, which resulted in other countries being forced to buy dollars in order to get oil on the international markets. This way, the largest geopolitical economic change since World War II was arguably implemented in 1973 with the agreement of OPEC, Saudi Arabia, and the United States to sell oil exclusively in dollars. Saudi Arabia should preferably invest the surplus oil business in U.S. debt securities and bonds market. Basically, that's how the world is. That's where the world's been since 1973, and it has never been challenged. It has never been challenged. I ask you, why hasn't it been challenged? Because there just simply wasn't anyone strong enough to challenge it. Simple as that. When things are simple. There's never been a power capable of challenging the U.S. Uh, power establishment. And if there's no one that could challenge it, then there's no one that could change it. And on that is why the world is changing right now, and people don't seem to understand because most Americans in America they have no idea what a petrodollar is. They have no care for it. They believe it's not going to affect them, and they believe it's pointless to their personal well being. Well, I'll have you know, it's definitely not pointless to your personal well-being. It's definitely a very important thing to know about, very important thing to be aware that's going on, especially nowadays that so many countries are moving against it. China thinks it's strong enough for the first time to move against the petrodollar. Russia's doing the same because of the sanctions. They were forced to move against the petrodollar or basically starve. And there's just so many things going on like that. The world is changing in front of our eyes and at alarming rates. It's changing very fast, and a lot of people just are not going to be able to deal with that. You ask me, how's this going to affect me? Well, when countries start using other things to purchase oil, that means that the US dollar will lose its purchasing power faster because there's no demand for US dollars no more. If China continues to buy oil from Saudi Arabia in yuan and they allow it, and Israel continues to exchange dollars for yuan and making their, it's just the world is churning. The world is churning. So basically, fast forward to 1980s, the situation of the financial explosion. That's basically what we're talking about, guys. That is where we're at. That is what the petrodollar is, in its greater as greater more or less that sums up what the petrodollar is. And how would this affect us? Well, it does. It does because as Americans we're used to already a certain way of lifestyle, And most people are so used to this lavish lifestyle that we all enjoy now that most people would be incapable of sacrificing that or changing that or unwilling to. If you go to the store, and you all seeing it now, we go to the store and things are just that much more expensive. Why is that? Why is it that things are now a lot more expensive than they were before? That would be because the US dollar is going into an inflationary situation. The world's turning their back on the US dollar. And this is creating a perfect storm, a perfectly destructible storm that's going to come and it's going to be bad. And that's basically where we're at. That's where the world's at right now, guys. By the way, any of you guys play chess? I really do enjoy playing chess, and it's one of my favorite pastimes. If you guys ever wanna have a quick game with me, I'll definitely appreciate it. That goes for other YouTube channels or just people, whoever you know. I like to play. I'm not that good at it, but I could hold a good game. I'll give you a good time. I could show you a good time. And yeah, guys, like, what else can I say? Like, I hate to sound like the guy that's just like the boy that cried wolf. Sometimes it feels that way, that I'm just ringing off the alarm bell and just no one's listening. No one's trying to listen to this stuff. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's just sometimes people are not willing to hear what's going on in the world. Wow, I don't know why he sacrificed his queen like that. I made a big mistake right there, but he caught it late. Lucky me, huh? Oh, I see. Queen, queen. That is what it is. So you could sign off from the video if you want. I'll just be finishing my game and then I'll be uploading. I'm pretty sure I lost this one though.